You can't just ask for a higher salary.
You can ask for a higher salary. Why not? What are they going to do? Laugh at you because you want more money? Everyone always wants more money. So you can just ask. And I would recommend starting by just asking. Welcome to the Let's Negotiate Your Salary Negotiator. My name is Friese. Today's video we'll be talking about how to negotiate your salary. What advice will work and what advice should be ignored at all costs. Let's go.
What's your salary expectation?
Oh, this is famous. This is, if you check YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, for salary negotiations, it's always about this one question. What is your salary expectation? Apparently that's the number one asked question, or at least the one people struggle with the most. Let's see what we can learn from this TikTok.
What's your budget? We don't have a budget. What's the market rate? A little down at the moment.
Okay, yeah, this is funny, right? But sometimes it does go like this, where people say, what's your salary expectation? And then you asking for, well, what's the budget? They don't want to say, you don't want to give your expectation, they don't want to share the budget, and you go back and forth. And that's exactly what we see in this video, although this is very entertaining.
I believe I bring a lot to the table. Possibly, but it's a pretty standard role.
I think I bring a lot to the table. Great. The response? Possibly, but it's a pretty standard role. In other words, if you don't do it, there's 10 others that can take the role if you don't.
I want to get back to you on this. Well, we'd much rather have an initial number. What's your current salary? Can't say. Sign the NDA.
Yeah, it's a great video. What can we learn from this? Well, my advice to you would be, if you're in this scenario, just make sure that you have an initial number in your head when you're negotiating your salary. Don't be afraid to be the first one to give your expectation for your salary. You should know more or less what you're worth and what you want to get out of it. So maybe give a range. It can be quite broad, but do give a range. And yeah, of course, lots of people say, never make the first offer. The one making the first offer will always lose, but that's simply not true. If you're well prepared for the negotiation, if you know what you're doing, if you're confident in your own abilities, then you can make the first offer. Actually, it might even work better than waiting for them to make the first offer. Because by you making the first offer, it shows you're confident and it shows that you know what you're worth. So my advice, don't be so afraid to make that first offer. Just put it out there. This is what I want to earn.
If you struggle with what to say when you're negotiating your salary, listen up. I have a simple 2-sentence script that has been extremely effective.
A simple 2-sentence script. Trust me, if you can negotiate your salary in 2 simple sentences, everyone would be a millionaire by now.
In helping people up their salaries by thousands of dollars a year for their entire career. So hiring managers do not want you to know this.
Why wouldn't hiring managers want you to know this? Isn't a good working relationship not to the benefit of the company that's hiring you as well?
But they have a budget of how much they can pay you for this job, and it's above what they offered you initially. As long as you ask for a salary that's below that top budget, they're going to be fine with it. It's a win for them, it's a win for you. But we don't need to convince them why we deserve this increase, we just need to ask for something that's in their budget. So all you have to say is this. Sentence 1, thank you so much for the offer, I'm very excited at the prospect of working together.
That sentence, trust me, all these hiring managers have heard that 1,000 times. Come up with something more authentic, something that you actually truly believe in. Don't give the standard sentences that everyone gives them. Try to be fresh, try to be energetic, and say what you want to say.
Sentence 2. In regard to salary, I was looking for, insert number 10% higher than the offer. Are you able to meet me in the middle at, insert number 5% higher than the offer?
Okay, so this guy, what he's doing and what he's advising you to do is to negotiate with yourself. So you ask for 10% more, but then right away you propose to split the difference. And my advice would be, yes, ask for a higher salary. Sure, that's where it all starts. If you don't dare to ask, you'll never get it. But if you ask for 10% more, or maybe 20, or maybe 30% more, just ask and wait for the answer. Don't try and negotiate with yourself already. Don't try and split the difference already. Wait until they come back and then you can decide to lower your ask.
This way you show them that you are willing to make a concession, and usually in turn, they will do the same. Follow for more job search tips.
I like the last part. He says if you show that you're willing to make a concession, they will do the same. So he's making use of Cialdini's reciprocity principle. Want to prepare your next salary negotiation? Download the Sound Negotiator Assistant from the App Stores. Links in the description. Next video.
Here is my favorite salary negotiation hack that everyone should use. So we know most states now have pay transparency, which means you have to show a salary range for every single job. So I'll give you an example of one of the questions that I always encourage my clients to ask. Let's say the salary range is from $100,000 to $150,000. One of the questions that I would ask in the interview process is, can you tell me what skills and experiences separate the $100,000 candidate versus the $150,000 candidate?
It's a great idea. That's all I can say. Because when you're negotiating, you have to ask more open-ended questions. Because you have to figure out what's going on in their world. What do they want out of you? And what can you do for them? That also means that if you know what they want, they will also tell you what pays, in this example, $100,000 and what pays $150,000. Once you know, you can see on which end of the scale you can deliver. And that gives you a pretty good idea what to ask for and how to negotiate and how far to push it. I think this is great advice and something you should definitely do. But not just this open-ended question, ask way more open-ended questions because you have to get as much information as possible.
That way, later in the negotiation process, you can use their literal words to justify why you deserve more money. You can literally craft your argument around the points that they've already given you. So if they say the candidate that we would pay $150,000 to has 5 years of experience, has managed XYZ project, and has extensive experience mastering XYZ skills, you can literally then flip it on its head and say, well, I have 5 years of experience, I've led XYZ projects, and I've done these things. It's genius, and I've seen it work time and time again. The key is to push your potential employer to quantify exactly why someone deserves that dollar amount, and then to create your story around that. Follow for more recruiting advice, tips, and tricks.
Well, she says push. I wouldn't say push, it's actually pull, because you're trying to get information about what they want and what they can offer in the stages of performance that you're discussing. So I would say ask open-ended questions and don't see that as pushing, but see that as exploring their world. And people actually really enjoy it if you ask open-ended questions. So a question that starts with what, how, when, which, where, all of that will work very well. And by the way, why I wouldn't ask, I would change why questions into what is the reason that. If you want more advice on your negotiations, go to soundnegotiator.com to get in touch. Next video.
Stop making these negotiation mistakes. My current salary is actually $80K, but I'm really hoping to make $100K. No. I'm currently interviewing for roles that pay $120K. Good.
Okay, so the first one indeed is a weak offer because she said, I'm hoping for. If you make an offer, make sure it's crisp and concise. Let's continue.
Thank you so much for the $90K offer. Frankly, it is a bit lower than what I was expecting. I'm hoping to make closer to $100K. You know, I live in a really expensive area and I just leased a new car, so I need to make sure I can cover my expenses.
Again, the hoping for I would take out, but to share your personal situation with someone doesn't really hurt you in a negotiation because people will actually understand. They will see your human side, that you have bills to pay, that you have a house mortgage to cover, that you have car payments to make. They will actually appreciate you for being human and being open and honest about it. Don't tell them that you have zero money and that you're almost bankrupt because that doesn't give them confidence. And in some other videos I've mentioned it as well, but it's something called the panda bear effect. People actually really like it if someone across the table isn't perfect because they're not perfect themselves either. So it creates a connection that they know, this person is struggling with certain things just like I am.
We can do better. Thank you so much for that $90K offer. I'm curious if there's any flexibility with that number at all. I'm targeting roles that pay closer to $120K, which I think aligns well with my 6 years of experience in acquisition marketing and my skill set in SQL and Tableau, as well as the market rates for this position. Way better.
I agree, although when you go that route, do keep in mind that you're now giving all your arguments in one go. What I would do is give 1 or 2 arguments at a time. Let them respond, and then you still have a few other arguments left if they don't agree with you yet. So don't shoot all your ammunition in one go. Keep a few bullets for the next attack.
Thank you for the offer. I'm really glad to hear you were able to meet me at my target salary of 100K. I am happy to sign the offer whenever it's available. What are we thinking? Thank you so much for that 100K offer. I am super excited about the position and to join this company. Before we finalize the offer, I'd like to discuss the possibility of including an additional week of paid vacation, as well as an accelerated performance review timeline with a commitment to evaluate the possibility of my promotion in 6 months. Is there any flexibility with these elements of the compensation package? You're a star.
Okay, so she says you should also negotiate other terms than salary. And I actually agree, that makes sense. But how do you do that? I think it would make sense to ask questions. What are the secondary benefits that come with this role? Let's go to the next video.
So I was looking at your resume, Christian, and I saw at the bottom you have an optional section with Spanish listed underneath.
Yes.
So you're bilingual. Yep, but it's optional if you want to purchase those services and depending on your bilingual pay differential policy.
Nice. I like this one. It's very smart. Give them something they want, but negotiate over it before you give it to them. Say it's optional, so you don't bring it into work every single day if they don't pay for it.
Okay, well, we are in need of a Spanish speaker. We can offer $1 more per hour for bilingual employees. Is that negotiable? Not really. That's just our standard policy. Okay.
Not really. What does that tell you? If someone says not really, it's most likely negotiable. If it wasn't, they would say no.
So $1 gets you the DORA level package. Can you say un poquito español? I mean, I can probably approve up to $2. It's your call. We can customize the Spanish level depending on how much you're willing to pay. Por $2 puedo hablar español un poquito más y un poquito más rápido. Level 15 Duolingo package.
Nice. So he's playing out the different scenarios, and depending on what you pay, his Spanish gets better. I like it.
I see now. Well, we really need a fluent Spanish speaker. Is there any way we can do that with $4? Tú tranquilo, yo nervioso, papi. Yo me encargo de los clientes que hablan español. Hasta puedo empezar ahorita si quieres. ¿A dónde me acomodo?
Nice one. Of course, this doesn't really happen in real life. Sometimes it can be a good strategy. Think about it. What do they ask from you and what are they willing to give you in return? And if that's out of balance, you should ask yourself, do I really want to work here? That's a question that you should ask yourself when you're negotiating your salary. And if it's not, don't be afraid to walk away. Sometimes no deal is better than a bad deal.
Thank you. I'm so honored that you've selected me for this role, and I know that I'd be able to deliver the results that you're looking for. Given my X years of experience and my proven ability to drive XYZ results, I'm actually targeting roles in the range of $115,000 to $125,000, which seems in line with the current market based on my research. Don't stop there. Paint the vision for how you'll help them. In my current role, I've done X, Y, and Z for the company, and I'm confident that I'll be able to help you achieve your goals of X as well. I'd love to understand what kind of flexibility you have with the proposed salary, as I'm excited about the possibility of joining the team.
Okay, so 2 things happening here. 1, she's basically applying the principle of in their world to their benefit. So talk about what you can do for the company and how you will solve their problems. That's what I want to hear, and that's why they'll hire you. They won't hire you to help you, they'll hire you because you will help them. So in their world to their benefit, go for it. By the way, there you can see a nice piece of artwork with exactly that, in their world to their benefit.
I'd love to understand what kind of flexibility you have with the proposed salary, as I'm excited about the possibility of joining the team.
I'd love to understand blah, 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 blah. Just ask an open-ended question. What is the flexibility you have? Done. What is the flexibility you have with X, Y, or Z? Short and simple. Don't make these long, I'd love to understand or whatever. No, just ask the question. When you ask the question, especially an open-ended question, you make people think. And you want people to think and then give you the answer, because then you get the most information and the best answers. Let me know in the comments, what tips and tricks did you use to negotiate your salary? What worked well and what failed spectacularly?
You asked for it. Here are 5 things that you can and should lie about in the interview process. Number 5.
I right away disagree. Don't lie in your job interview. It's not worth it and it's not necessary at all.
Lie about where you see yourself in 5 years.
No, don't. Just be honest.
Nobody wants to hear you say that you see yourself in grad school or getting married and having babies. What we want to hear you say is, I see myself here at this organization.
Okay, so you don't have to tell your whole personal story about what you want to do and whether you want to have babies or not. Of course, you don't have to share all that information, but don't lie and say something that you actually don't want. Don't show ambition if you don't have it that much, because in the end, it won't work out anyway. Just be honest.
Lie about why you're looking. We don't want to hear that you're looking because you hate the culture of your current company. No. Say something like, I've outgrown my position and I'm looking for a new challenge.
Again, I understand what she's saying here. And of course, it's not smart to talk about your old company in a very negative way, because they'll think, how would they talk about me in 3 months' time? But again, why not be honest? Why not say, hey, the culture doesn't really fit me that well because whatever the reason is. It's honest, and if you can explain it in a polite way, there's nothing wrong with it.
Number 3, lie about how you feel about your current boss and current coworkers. I don't care if you work for the worst, most micromanaging boss in the world. We don't want to hear you talk about that in an interview, especially if you're being interviewed by someone who might be your prospective boss.
Disagree again. Why not? Because if you don't, you might get a micromanaging boss once again. And that's the whole reason why you left the previous job or want to leave the previous job. And if they know, maybe they can find a manager that doesn't do that. And you can get a manager that gives you the free rein to do what you want to do and to operate in a way that works best for you.
2, lie about your hobbies. Please pick hobbies that sound professional and interesting. Don't tell me that all you do outside of work is watch Netflix.
Disagree again. Be someone with a hobby and share your hobby, be passionate about it. And again, it makes you human, they'll appreciate it. And I always enjoy it when someone tells me about their hobbies. It tells me something about the person. And once I know the person a bit better, I see passion, even if it's for their hobbies, I can see they might be passionate about the work as well. And that's what you want in a company. So no, don't pick professional hobbies, whatever a professional hobby is anyway, I have no idea. Just be honest and share what you like to do outside of work. And nobody wants to work 100 hours a week anyway. So you do have time for hobbies. Nothing wrong with that.
Number 1, you can lie about your job description and your title. You can embellish it a bit, especially if you have been working above and beyond your job description and you haven't been getting paid for it. Previously, I did a video 5 things to not lie about on your resume and job application, which is linked below.
I hope that video has better advice than this one, because this I definitely wouldn't recommend. Remember, negotiating your salary isn't about saying this one thing, or always doing this or never doing that. It's about being well prepared, it's about operating in their world to their benefit, and it's about always being honest. I really hope that this will help you with your next salary negotiation. Also, if you have any additional questions about negotiation or negotiating your salary, let me know in the comments and I'll answer every single one of your questions. Cheers for now and good luck with your next negotiation.